Hey guys, today we're going to do the unboxing and overview of the Sony Walkman WM1Z. So this is the flagship digital audio player of Sony back in 2016, I believe is when this came out. Yeah, this is a kind of a legendary player among audiophiles because it's got a really, I guess, built up reputation of great sound quality and musicality that audiophiles have been talking about online for a long time. Now I guess almost 10 years because yeah, 2016 was like 10 years ago, right? So I never actually picked up the WM1Z because first of all, it was expensive. It retailed for $3,200 back then, $3,200 US. Yep, that's quite a bit of money. Nowadays you can find them a lot cheaper, obviously. I got this in Fujiya Avich in Tokyo. They have a it's a pretty famous headphone shop in Tokyo, and they had this used for $850 US, secondhand. That was a really good price. Usually you can see these online for about $1,000 these days, like average. So getting them for under $1,000 is actually a pretty good deal. So I decided to pick it up. I think the one thing that also kind of turned me off about this one is the weight. So it weighs 455 grams, which is half a kilogram. That's pretty heavy, especially if you compare it to the WM1A, which is the slightly lower end model. Of course, this is the flagship model, but if you go one model lower than this in Sony's Walkman lineup, you get the WM1A, which came out around the same time, 2016 or 2017. And this is like 260 grams. So this is like half the weight, or a little bit less than half of the weight of the 1Z. So I've used the WM1A for the past few months, I would say. I got this used as well, and I got it for $450 US. It retailed new for around $1,000. So I thought this one was pretty good. It sounded very musical to me, and it's a pretty nice size actually, and good weight. And it still looks and feels really premium. It's got aluminum casing and everything. You guys can see that shiny aluminum there. Yeah, so very high quality Sony product from back in the day. So yeah, just the one thing about the 1Z is like, okay, I would like to upgrade to the 1Z, just, you know, the weight always turned me off about it because it weighs half a kilogram. And honestly, like internally, it doesn't seem to be that different. I'm not exactly sure what Sony did internally, but it seems to be like the same size as the Sony WM1A and same design and everything. Just I wonder what changed about it, right? I still think the WM1A is nice. It still feels really premium and looks really premium and everything, good build quality, and honestly, it's a really good size and weight. But anyways, I was in Tokyo traveling, and I went to the headphone shop and I saw this for $850, and I was like, okay, this is a really good price for a WM1Z. I gotta pick it up, right? So yeah, here I am with the WM1Z, and we're gonna do the unboxing of it. So this is in Japan, so this is a Japanese model. Everything's Japanese, of course. But I can tell you guys the specs of this. The most noticeable spec difference, besides the weight difference from the WM1A, but the other big difference is that WM1A comes with 128 gigabytes of built-in storage. WM1Z comes with 256 gigabytes of built-in storage, so you get double the storage capacity. So if nothing else, even if you guys don't hear any sound difference, which I'm not sure what exactly sound differences would be, they do have the same design. Sony doesn't talk about the differences in the DAC or anything. So even if you guys think there won't be any sound quality difference, at least you get a storage upgrade for the price. So that's the very least that you get. 256 gigs compared to the 128 in WM1A. So anyways, let's take a look at this legendary WM1Z. People have been talking about this for a long time online, and I just, yeah, never got it, mostly because of the price and the weight and size until now. Okay, the Sony black box here. This is a used model, by the way, so it's not going to come with a lot of the stuff that normally I guess it would come with. So I do get the bare minimum here, which is the charging cable. And for this is the first generation WM1Z. Now we have the WM1Z M2, which uses USB-C and Android. The first generation, because it came back in 2016, yeah, it uses Sony's proprietary charging cable here. So you have to use the Walkman proprietary charging cable, which I also have to use for the WM1A as well. So I'm kind of used to using this cable. Yeah, it is kind of annoying to bring a separate cable just for this, but Yeah, I mean, this is like a throwback to the days of the iPod and the Creative Zen and Microsoft Zune, right? Back in the days when MP3 players had their own charging cables. I guess Sony had a throwback here back in 2016. But yeah, with the newer generation Walkmans, they all use USB-C, of course, and they run Android. But because this one is old, 2016, yeah, they still use their own proprietary charging cables, and also they don't run Android. They run their own custom operating system that's Linux-based, but it's not Android. So you can't install your own apps and stuff onto it. So that's another thing. It's more of a pure audio player in that sense. But I think some people might actually like this better because it's more pure. You don't have to think about updating Android or anything like that. It's just the operating system, because it's custom, it'll last quite a long time and it's quite fast and smooth. I've used the same operating system on the WM1A. I found it to be very responsive, very nice operating system. So in general, I don't mind that Sony did not use Android for this, unless you have to have streaming apps and stuff like that. I don't mind, because I don't use streaming apps. Also comes to the lanyard here, which you know, it's funny. I think of like, who is going to carry this on a lanyard, right? This is a $3,000 device, and plus it's insanely heavy. Who's going to use a lanyard to carry it? I mean, you have to hold in your hand, okay? So the first thing I feel when I pick this up is, wow, that weight difference, right? So yeah, just holding this in one hand, holding this in another, I can see the 1Z weight difference is quite a bit more substantial. It is definitely a brick. People call it a copper brick, because it's not just a gold colored. This is a pure oxygen free copper casing here. So this is aluminum, right? It's milled out of aluminum here for the WM1A, and then for WM1Z it's oxygen free copper. Copper is a lot heavier than aluminum, so a lot of the weight difference basically comes from using the oxygen free copper. Actually, I think that's all the weight difference, but yeah, it's substantially heavier. That's what I noticed, and people call this essentially a gold brick. Essentially, it does feel like a gold brick. But yeah, you guys can tell the design is exactly the same as the WM1A. They both have this nice leather, well, it's not leather, it's kind of like leather-ish textured back, which is nice. I think it feels really premium. So I like this nice leather-ish textured back here with the NFC here and the Walkman logo. And then on the side here, yeah, exact same controls for hold. So you push this up if you don't want to accidentally activate the touchscreen. So hold button there. This one, I guess this one is missing the sticker, but this one's made in Malaysia, right? I assume the WM1Z is also made in Malaysia. I don't think it's made in Japan. So I think it's also made in Malaysia, which is fine. That's why Sony makes a lot of its products. And yeah, you have the same controls on the left side here, or right side actually, sorry. The right side is the same playback controls. You have power button, you have volume up and down, and then you have next track, previous track, play, pause. So yeah, Sony does not use volume dials. They tend to use volume buttons instead. And then on top, you have the exact same I/O here for the outputs. You got balanced 4.4, which Sony was one of the first companies to use 4.4 output for the balanced, and eventually that became the standard. So yeah, they were competing against 2.5 and balanced TRRS 3.5 at the time, and then 4.4 ended up winning out. So now 4.4 is the standard. So Sony, maybe because of Sony, but I mean, Sony definitely helped push the 4.4 standard. So anyways, yeah, you can use most of your balanced cables with it now, which is nice. 3.5 right here. So yeah, generally no need for adapters, right? Because I go back in some of the older digital audio players, and if they use 2.5 or they use balanced 3.5, then I have to use an adapter. But yeah, good thing with Walkman, they use 4.4 here, which is quite modern. And yeah, 3.5 here. And then at the bottom, you have the proprietary charging cable slot. You have the slot for the lanyard, which I don't know who carries this around. I mean, the WM1A, I guess you could, but who carries WM1Z around with the lanyard? Come on, right? It's so heavy. But anyways, you have that slot here for that. Micro SD card slot here. I'm not sure what's the max it can support. I haven't tried 1 terabyte SD card, but I've tried 512 gigabyte. I think that might be okay. Because you got to remember back in 2016 when these came out, the maximum SD card amount at that time was 256, I believe, because 512 gigabyte micro SD was not really there until 2018, I think. So 256 for sure, because Yeah, 256 gigabyte micro SD was the biggest that you could have at the time. But I'm not sure actually if it supports more than that. Yeah, anyways, the most immediate difference is the weight difference. WM1Z is like twice the weight. It really does feel very, very hefty in the hand. And yeah, this is both used, but this is a better condition. My WM1A is in better condition than the WM1Z. No wonder this one was cheap, was relatively cheaper, I guess, because the retail price was $3,200. I got this for $850. So, and yeah, it was quite discounted because of the condition, I think. Yeah, anyways, I can turn this on, and I don't need to show you guys actually the WM1A because it has the exact same operating system as WM1A, except this one's in Japanese, I know, because I bought it in Japan. But I'm pretty familiar with the WM1A operating system, and this is the exact same operating system, so I can tell you guys exactly what everything is here. So we can just go over the UI. Right, so yeah, basically up there you'll see volume. So once you increase the volume, decrease the volume, it goes up to what, 120? Let's just double check that. Yeah, it goes up to 120 steps. By the way, I don't know the power because Sony does not advertise the specs much on their Walkman players, but power-wise, I assume it's actually not too different from WM1A, which I think is, well, I kind of guessed it's probably around somewhere around the 200 milliwatts for unbalanced and around 400 or something for the balanced, I guessed. So somewhere around there. Someone online can help check that, but Sony does not really advertise its power specs or its DAC specs. It uses ostensibly the same DAC as the WM1A, the S-Master HX amp, which is Sony's proprietary DAC and amp architecture. It's totally digital. There's no analog component of it. So basically once the signal goes in, it never goes into analog until it comes out, until the moment it comes out. So yeah, it's definitely a different kind of DAC architecture compared to most digital audio players. So yeah, Sony uses their S-Master HX DAC, which is unique to them. They don't advertise the specs. I don't know if it's the same or different than the WM1A's DAC, so I have no idea. Supposedly the internals are slightly different. I think they use internals, different cables internally. So this uses Kimber cables internally. WM1A does not. Kimber cables is this American brand of high-end audio cables, and they used it internally in the WM1Z. But I'm not sure how much that affects the sound, and I'm not sure what else is different. And power-wise, again, I'm just kind of speculating here. That's around the same as the WM1A. So I'm guessing like 200 milliwatts on the unbalanced and around 400 on the balanced. So not too powerful. But Sony Walkmans are more known for their musicality and not really their power. They're known for just being really great sounding players. They're not known for being powerful players. So if you're looking for power, don't get a Walkman. So okay, so you got two things up here: DAC, which you can use to activate USB DAC when you connect it to the computer. That's something that most digital audio players can do. Is you want to just bypass the storage and just make it use it as a USB-C DAC instead, or USB DAC, I should say. Yeah, this is using a proprietary connector. Yeah, if you just want to use this as just for the DAC, then you can do that, which is, I think, a viable way to use it because Sony has its own proprietary DAC. You're not going to find this DAC anywhere else. So it could be interesting to use it as a external portable DAC. This one is Bluetooth. Of course, it has LDAC support, which is a Sony invention. So you don't have aptX here, but you do have LDAC, which is nice. So don't have to worry about LDAC with Sony stuff because that's their invention. So of course they're going to support that. You have all songs here. So I loaded about, let's see, roughly about 20,000 songs are on here. And it loads really, really fast. Not quite as fast as my Load 2, but like when you start up the player from a cold boot, it will take some time to index all the files and recreate the database and stuff. But that's fine because I don't have to cold reboot it often because honestly the battery life lasts a very long time. So with the WM1A and WM1Z, maybe also due to the custom operating system, the battery life lasts quite a while. The quoted battery life from like a full new Sony Walkman is like 30 hours. So that's quite a bit. Of course, this is a used one, so it's old, so it's not going to be exactly that much. But brand new back in 2016 would have been like 30 to 32 hours of playback time, which is insane. actually. These days, you're not going to get that much playback time on a digital audio player. So it does last quite a bit. Yeah, so hopefully it will last still a long time, even though it's old and secondhand. But yeah, you guys can tell the even with 20,000 songs, scrolling is quite smooth on this. It's quite responsive. So yeah, it's not running Android or anything. There's no bloat or anything. It's just Sony's own custom operating system. And honestly, I kind of wish they would go back to it, but I understand because, you know, people want streaming and stuff like that. But I actually prefer this to Android. You know, I don't need any of the apps of Android. I think this is good. If it's a trade-off for getting better battery life and faster responsive UI, I'm all for it. And no search function, by the way. That's the one thing I kind of wish it had, because I'm not really that organized. I know a lot of people don't care because they organize their music files into folders, but for me, I'm not very organized as a person. It would be nice for it to have search, but it does not have any search functionality. You just gotta find your song here on this list, guys. So yeah, it could be scrolling a lot, but generally I don't use the all songs as much as I use artist, because artist I can find the song a bit easier. So yeah, there's an artist view right here. Again, no search, but I can find my song a bit easier with artists because there's less artists than total songs, obviously. And then you can go by album here. So this is the album. Yeah, I don't need to read the Japanese because it's pretty obvious what they are. Yeah, and then when you play a song, it'll be like this. Okay, so you play a song. Okay, this is the music interface, exactly the same as WM1A. So you have the album cover here. This is something, actually I don't know what that is exactly, but oh, this is settings. Okay, so if I go here, I can do settings here, and then this is some of the settings that you can do. Yeah, it's in Japanese, but you can turn the brightness here, brightness level. I think this is like Bluetooth connections. I think it's like two-way Bluetooth as well, which is interesting. Let's see. This is, I think you can adjust the output level as well, from high and low. Yeah, let's see. I had to go back to my WM1A for some of this, actually, because I do not read Japanese, unfortunately. So let's go back to my W1A to double check what some of these things are. So this one will load. Let me go back to the music player. So you have your standard music player controls here, right? Previous track, next track, play, pause. And you can see info about the track by going here, and you go info, and then you can see album, genre, bitrate, yeah, and then sampling rate and everything. You kind of see that there if you want. So there's that. And I think you can add it to the playlist. So yeah, different playlists and stuff. So this will create the database from cold boot. Obviously, it'll take longer if you have more songs. But even at 20,000 songs, I didn't feel like it took all too long. So it's generally fast. Okay, so this one's in English. Let's this setting should be exactly the same. Okay, so let's go settings here. Okay, so yeah, this is playback settings. So if I go here, let's go off this. Okay, so this one should be shuffle playback. Oh, this is repeat. Okay, so repeat off, repeat all, repeat song. You can kind of change that. And then playback range, all range, selected range. You can kind of change that. Sleep timer, you can change that from off to like up to 120, is it minutes? Yeah, 120 minutes, okay. And then you can list the artist list display as album artist or artist. And then you can do display lyrics. Keep screen on when display lyrics, okay. The second one is output settings here. So you can have a volume limit in case you want to protect your hearing more. High gain output, so you can do this, and you can turn on high gain output to the stereo mini jack or the balance jack. So the 3.5 or the 4.4, you can turn on high gain. So right now I have just on low gain mode, I guess, which is fine for IEMs, which is what I mostly use this with. Left to right balance, you can change that, of course, just like another DAPs. USB output for DSD. I don't listen to DSD, but if you have DSD files, you can change that. DSD playback settings, you can select filtering and gain right here. So this is slow roll off, sharp roll off, gain 0 decibels or -3. Okay. And then play DSD in native format as well. Again, I don't play DSDs. Device settings. Okay. Beep settings right there. Disable touch panel when hold switch is on. Screen off timer. I said I have it set to 30 seconds by default. Mount or unmount SD card. USB connection settings. Auto power off. Battery care. Clock settings. English language settings. Text input and reset format. Yeah. So this is a Japanese WM1Z, and I cannot seem to change the language settings, which is why it's still in Japanese. I think it may be a firmware thing. If I could change the firmware, then maybe I can change the language, but right now it's stuck in Japanese. But that's fine again for me, because I already know what that menu does. Okay, direct source, disable sound settings right here, equalizer. I'll get to this in a bit. Equalizer DSC HX, that's the Sony upsampler. DC phase linearizer, which changes the sound a little bit. Dynamic normalizer, which keeps the same volume in between songs, kind of adjusts that. Vinyl processor is another DSP thing. Bluetooth, connect to Bluetooth. You can connect to your Bluetooth devices here. Auto device connection settings, receiver, playback, NFC, Bluetooth information, USB DAC settings, unit information. So yeah, this will be my unit information here. W1Z, firmware 3.02, 256 gigs of storage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the settings. And if I go to here, this is add to bookmark list. You can add it to a playlist. You can change the playback screen. You can see the song information. You can display the lyrics, and then there's help. So basically that's what those are about. Okay. And on the main menu here, go back to main menu. Okay, you can go by genre. So this is genre here. I don't tend to use genre very often. It's not really accurate anyways. Then you can go playlists. If you have custom playlists, you can look at here. High-res files, you can just go in high-res, which is this one actually. This is interesting. I don't seem to have this setting on the WM1A. This is artist, I think, but it's writer, it's composer. Okay, so it's like this is artist, but this is actually composer. Okay, interesting. I don't have that setting on the W1Z. And then actually this is playlists. Okay, this is actually playlists. This one is something different. Oh, by year, okay. So I think my firmware is a bit different on this one because it's Japanese firmware. It's a different firmware. So I have, in addition to all the stuff that WM1A has, I have the year that the song was released, and I have the composer of the song, which is cool, but I'm not going to use that too much. And then I have, this is custom playlist right here, and then this is high-res files. Okay, and then I got recent transfers, which you're going to look at your recent your recent transfers to this device. If you want to just look at the songs that you added, you can go by folder here, which is kind of way a lot of people like to do it, just going by folder. And then I have SD card on here now. What's this one? Okay, this is interesting. I don't have this setting on the WM1Z either. You have shuffle all songs, upbeat, mellow, morning, midnight. What's this? Yeah, it's interesting. I don't exactly know what that is. That's some custom thing that I have on here. Shuffle, upbeat, mellow, morning, or midnight. Okay, I actually don't know what that is. Okay, interesting. So I have a different firmware in here, of course, Japanese one, but you guys can also see the quality of the song up here. FLAC 96 kilohertz, 24-bit in this case. I can go to my music very quickly by pressing this button. If I want to go back to the main menu, I can go very quickly with this button. So that's a quick way to go between that. Yeah, so easy to use interface, I'd say. And then if I go down here, you can disable all this EQ stuff by going direct right here. If you want to disable all that, just go pure. Yeah. But if you want to activate EQ, you can do that. They have a 10-band EQ that you can set to. I have EQ set that my friend actually recommended me, so I have it set to this. But you can change your EQ there. It's 10-band EQ, fairly standard. And then you have your DSC HX, which is your upsampler. It'll upsample a lot of your lower quality tracks into higher quality. And I believe you can, so I'm going to just double check these settings again. Okay, so yeah, this is type. Okay, yeah, so you can select type female vocal, male vocal, percussion, or strings. I guess they have a different upsampler for different genres or something. That's interesting, but I just use it on standard. I don't know about these other things about male vocal, female vocal, because I listen to all types of songs, right? I'm not going to use it for just one type. DC phase linearizer makes the low frequency phase characteristics closer to traditional analog amplifier. Okay, so the DC phase linearizer is kind of hard to explain. From what I've seen online, type A supposedly has harder bass impact, shorter bass decay. Type B is longer bass decay, softer bass impact. And low, medium, or high is like, low is more softer and slow, and medium is in between soft, slow, and fast detailed, and then high is like more faster and detailed and harder. So I guess this all affects the bass, and some affects the sub bass more than the mid bass. I don't know. It can be played around with. I think I'm gonna leave it at B standard actually, but you can be played around with. I think the difference is very subtle, in my opinion. Then you have the normalizer here, which is basically you have volume differences between tracks. This is gonna make it like going from one track with a lot of higher volume, lower volume to another. It's gonna make the difference a bit more easier. But I don't turn this on because I feel like the sound is affected because it's essentially like compression, right? So I feel like this is essentially compression, and which kind of takes out some of the dynamics of the sound. But if you guys do have big volume differences between tracks, I guess it can help. This is the vinyl processor, and oh man, let me go over this one. So this is a DSP thing. So vinyl processor has standard, arm resonance, turntable resonance, surface noise is the different settings here. I don't really use this vinyl processor. I think it's essentially, yeah, it's trying to make your music sound more like vinyl analog, which will kind of roll off the treble on a lot of tracks. And I guess this will be different degrees of rolling off the treble. But anyways, a lot of DSP stuff that you can turn on for Sony Walkman. Anyways, yeah, pretty much the same as the WM1A, the same design, same interface and everything. The difference in sound, I think, it remains to be seen because I don't know, from spec-wise, it seems like it's the same. But yeah, there's apparently a big difference in sound. So I'm going to check it out and I'm going to tell you guys the differences. Just going to compare them, A/B, the WM1A and the WM1Z, and tell you guys what I hear. Also, I'm going to compare it to some of my other flagship digital audio players. So I have the KN-N8 right here. This is a 3000, actually this version, the limited brass black version, $3,700 music player from 2018. So this is a pretty expensive player, would be pretty competitive with the WM1Z back in the day. So compared to the KN-N8, which is also 2-powered, by the way, which is really cool. Then compare it to the Low-2 Touch, which is another flagship player from 2018. This has been my main music player for the past few months, and also retailed for like $3,200. So in terms of flagship quality, price level, this pretty much all similar here. KN-N8, Low-2 Touch, and Sony WM1Z would have been at the top of the heap back in 2018, I would say. These would have been the top music players. So yeah, we can compare them. Yeah, basically the main difference is just from the outside is that this is heavier. It's oxygen-free copper for the chassis, not aluminum. It has 256 gigs of storage, not 128. But yeah, sound differences wise, we'll have to see. Because spec wise, Sony doesn't say too much about the differences there. So yeah, stay tuned guys. I'm going to test it out and see what the differences are. Another comparison I want to do is the WM1Z with the Koan Planu S. So the Koan Planu S is the flagship Koan player that was released, I think back in like late 2015 or early 2016. And this retailed for around $1,800 to $2,000 US. So fairly expensive at the time. I think the only more expensive players would have been the WM1Z and the Aston Kern, what is it, AK380 at the time, I think. So there wasn't too many more expensive players in the Planu S, and WM1Z was one of them. So yeah, this would have been the flagship Ko-1 at the time, and comparing these two, I would say UI wise, the Sony Walkman still wins. It's just more responsive and everything. Like, yeah, just going to any track, right? It's just very smooth and responsive, whereas the Ko-1, yeah, it's a little bit laggy, I would say. Now, it does have search functionality. That's something that the WM1Z does not have. It has search functionality, but yeah, it's overall the UI is a little bit slower than the Walkman. So I would say UI wise, I would say the Walkman wins still. Like, even though Walkman doesn't have search, but it is faster in general. So I think UI wise, I still pick the Walkman. Now, sound wise and power wise, I think power wise is similar. It's not like this is that much more powerful. They're both around, like, let's say around 400 milliwatts on the balanced. And by the way, this balanced is it's a 3.5 millimeter balanced. It's not 2.5 and it's not 4.4, of course. There's a 3.5 balanced as well. So that's what the Planu S uses. It's not a very common type of connection you'll see nowadays. But yeah, off of the balanced, I would say like fairly similar, and unbalanced maybe similar as well, maybe 200 milliwatts off the unbalanced. Of course, one major difference is the Ko-1 does have BBE and the jet effect settings. So the jet effect settings are a bunch of DSP effects that work really well, and probably some of the best DSP that I've heard, because it sounds very natural and really does increase the sound quality a lot. So the Planu S does have that going for it, as do all Planu players actually. They all have a jet effect, and because of that, this really hits above its well, what it is. You know, it's an older player, and it really sounds a lot better than the chip that it actually has. It has a PCM 1792 in it, which is kind of an older flagship DAC, but it's got like this nice warm organic tonality to it. Not like, compared to the WM1Z, I would say they both sound kind of warm and musical. So they both got this warm musical thing going on, the PCM 1792 with the proprietary Sony S Master chip inside of here. But in terms of actual, you know, the technicalities, I think the Sony still wins. But with the jet effect on, this actually comes close. So it depends on what jet effect setting you use. I usually just use BBMP because it just kind of makes everything sound high resolution, gives a little bit more clarity without changing it too much. So it's not like these different settings, some of them change the effect. Like some of them are more like artificial sounding, for lack of a better word, than others, because it changes the effect of the sound too much. So I try not to go with something that changes the effect too much, but something that's more subtle. So BBMP, I go with Mach 3 bass will actually increase the bass quite a bit. Yeah, so using that setting, I think it's close. I would still go with the WM1Z for the musicality, right? The amount of like soundstage, I guess, it offers, and yeah, the amount of like the notes blooming, I guess that's something that I noticed on WM1Z. So I think WM1Z still has the edge here, but it's close, you know, with the BBE setting. Without the BBE setting, like without the jet effects setting and just stock, yeah, definitely WM1Z. But with the jet effect turned on, the Planu S the punches above compared to newer players, and then it comes pretty close in my opinion. So yeah, overall I'll still take the WM1Z for the sound quality though, but the Planu S is fairly light. It is definitely lighter than the WM1Z. WM1Z is a copper brick essentially. They are around the same size though, so you guys can see around the same size, but this is probably half the weight, so it's definitely more portable. But the UI is not quite as responsive as the Walkmans. So anyways, that's my comparison with the Planu S. I'll also show you guys how it sounds in the sound comparison test. But yeah, I would still pick the W1Z over the stock Planu S. It's pretty obvious, but with the jet effect turned on, then it becomes closer, and I might still just go with the W1Z, but it becomes kind of close with the jet effect. But yeah, that's how I would compare it to the Planu S. Both are pretty well-built players, and flagships back in like 2016, I would say. So yeah, that's another comparison I wanted to make. Alright, so I spent a lot of time with the Walkman WM1Z. Actually, I bought this when I was in Japan on a trip, and I used it all throughout my time in Japan and China. And I've had a good amount of time testing this and using this. I used it for hours on plane trips. Same thing with low topographical touch. I've used this for a long time as well. In fact, I had it on the same trip. So I had a lot of time to kind of compare these two back and forth. Also, compared it against the Kowan Planu S as well, since this was also a flagship digital audio player at that time. And the KN-N8, another flagship digital audio player that kind of around the same time that WM1Z came out. Also, I can make a comparison to WM1A as well, because I use this for a bit as well, and the Questyle QP2R, another flagship digital audio player released. This one came out 2018. Yeah, so around the same time as WM1Z. So I'm going to give you guys my impressions of all these. So the WM1Z, first of all, what do I think about this player? It is absolutely amazing. It is like, hands down, I'm not going to say sound quality, like in terms of just the detail resolution of the measurements and stuff, because this is not technically the best audio player I've heard of in terms of measurements, right? In terms of that, I think it would be the Aston Current SP3000M. That digital player I've owned a couple months back, and I think in terms of just if you're going to measure distortion, black background type of stuff like that, the Aston Current SP3000M being like 4 AK4499EX chips inside of it, and it's a much more modern digital audio player, that one is going to measure the best. But in terms of musicality, and when I use the term musicality, I know it's kind of a vague term to use, right? But how I'm saying is this: when I use the WM1Z, I feel like the song just comes alive. Like, not to say that the other digital audio players, like the song feels really boring or something like that. Sometimes it does, like on the Aston Current players. I feel like AK's house sound can feel a little bit too clinical and too neutral for me. But it just feels like if I use the low topographical touch, this is a kind of a neutral reference player. A lot of people reference it as neutral. And I compare this to WM1Z. I feel like the WM1Z just has this extra sparkle, musicality, and dynamic type of tonality, right? It's like when I listen to the same songs, I can feel like the note separation is a little bit wider on the songs, the sound stage is a bit wider, the notes have a little bit more depth to them, the dynamics, like the bass just feels like it has a little bit more punch to it, the mids have a little bit more depth, sound stage is a little bit wider, notes have a little bit better separation, and the treble, right, and everything just feels like it has a little bit more sparkle and energy to it. So that's what I mean when I talk about musicality. It just feels like everything. I don't know what Sony's doing with this. Like, they don't talk about the internals and the specs or anything like that. They just say, oh, we have S-Master HX amp DAC system inside of this, right? I don't know exactly what they're doing different with this one compared to, say, WM1A. So WM1A also uses S-Master HX, so does WM1Z. Technically, the only differences I can see is that this is heavier, and this uses a oxygen-free copper block, and it uses Kimber cables internally, okay? What else are they doing? I don't know. But this sounds a lot more musical, for lack of a better term. It's just like the notes and everything just kind of bloom a little bit more on the WM1Z. And I already thought the WM1A was fairly musical, you know? When I used this, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty nice sounding player. I saw online reviews saying that this is actually more neutral in terms of Sony, right? Because Sony actually makes most of their players very musical sounding. This one is actually leaning a little bit more neutral, and I tried it. I was like, no, it's actually not neutral at all. I mean, I tried Aston Current players. I have low topographical touch. These are actually neutral, right? So in comparison to those, WM1A doesn't feel that neutral. It feels fairly musical to me. But then I checked out WM1Z, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. This one is like, wow, like, I listen to the music, everything just comes alive, right? The dynamics, the energy, the notes bloom a little bit more, the soundstage a little bit wider, everything just feels more musical with this one. It doesn't necessarily feel like the best in terms of measurements though. Like I said, it doesn't have the blackest background or lowest distortion or anything. That would be the AK SP3000M. But it feels like the most musical player to me. Like, if you were to ask me which one out of all my digital audio players, and I have a lot, right? I'm a collector. Which one of these would I pick up for listening to music and I just want to enjoy the music the most? I would pick WM1Z. every single time I'll pick this one. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what kind of magic or wizardry Sony engineers did. It just sounds so enjoyable. The music, every song, even songs I normally don't like, it just sounds better on the WM1Z. Like I've already compare, okay? WM1A, this is the step down model, right? W1Z. Still sounds really nice and musical and enjoyable, right? But compared to WM1Z, yeah, the notes just feel like that much more dynamic sounding on the WM1Z. I don't know how else to better explain this. I'll have a sound comparison test coming up. Maybe it can be noticeable or not, I don't know. I don't know how to better explain this because it's all subjective, right? It's all subjective, so, you know, just from my own listening, my own ears and everything, and my own equipment. But I feel like WM1Z, the notes just blew more. More energy around the treble. The bass feels like it has more punch to it. A little bit more depth around the notes compared to WM1A. But 1A already is pretty good, you know, for the price. And honestly, this one is more portable because it's lighter. It's like half the weight. 1A is already pretty good. It's already fairly enjoyable, but just 1Z is that much more enjoyable, right? When I compare them side by side. I didn't know. I thought this was already pretty musical. I didn't know that that this one, you know, was that much more musical until I tried this one, right? And then when you have them side by side, then I kind of notice it more. What about KN-N8? Okay, KN-N8, this was the brass black version, but the original version retailed for around the same price as WM1Z in 2018. Yeah, if I use the tube output, this one will be warmer sounding than the WM1Z, even though the 1Z is already fairly warm, right? People call the Sony DAPs, yeah, the fairly warm and musical, but N8 with the tube output is still going to be warmer, because this one actually feels like it has tubes inside of it when you use the tube output. But in terms of the musicality and enjoyment, I would still pick the 1Z. I think that, okay, in terms of just absolute, if I want to hear the music, well, if I don't use the tube output, then it's going to have actually clearer sound, it's going to have blacker background. If I use the tube output, then actually distortion's higher. So I would just be getting a warmer tonality out of the N8. But in terms of musicality, I think I would still pick the 1Z. Like, sure, if I want to enjoy the tube flavor, I can have the N8, but musicality-wise, I'll still go with the 1Z. What about low 2 Poggle Touch? I use this one the most in terms of comparison. Yeah, this is still going to be a nice neutral reference DAP, and the interface on the Poggle Touch is still the best because I can do quick searches with it. It indexes files blazing fast. Like I insert my micro, not micro, it's a full size. So I insert my full-size SD card into this thing. It indexes like 20,000 songs in like 15 seconds. It's super fast. So in terms of the usability and form factor, the fact that it's lighter, yeah, I would still go with Poggle Touch as my main daily driver because of those reasons. Like 1Z is probably just going to be my at-home DAP, I guess, even though it technically is portable, but because of the weight, you know, like this is really just a brick. The Poggle Touch is still going to be my daily driver DAP. It's still pretty good. I remember like when I tried this out against the Aston Kern SP3000M I mentioned, yeah, the SP3000M technically, yeah, it has better measurements, blacker background, less distortion, noise, etc. But I liked the wider soundstage on the Poggle Touch and the interface better, the usability better, so I picked the Poggle Touch over it. And yeah, in terms of usability interface, it still wins over the Sony. Even though Sony has a pretty good interface, right? And the Walkman interface is pretty good, but I'll still go with low 2 Poggle Touch when it comes to the interface and usability. As a daily driver digital audio player, I think I'll still use this. Yeah, but in terms of the actual sound, it really depends. You know, it's like if I want to just listen to music with absolute neutrality, and like if I'm testing IEMs, right? I went to Japan like recently, and I just went to Earphone and Fujiya AVIC to test the IEMs and stuff. So if I'm just testing IEMs and headphones, I'll actually use the low 2 because this one is doesn't really color the tone too much. It just presents the music, you know, the way it is. It doesn't try to embellish it too much. It doesn't try to color it too much. At the same time, it's not clinical sounding like the Aston Kern players are. So in terms of just being a neutral reference player without sounding too clinical, I'll still go with the low 2. And in terms of the size and weight and usability of the interface, I'll still go with Poggle Touch. But if you were to ask me, hey, which one would you pick up just enjoying the music, I would still go with WM1Z over the Poggle Touch. It just is what it is, you know, like it's something unexplainable. I can just say that everything just sounds a little bit more alive with the WM1Z. On the low to Poggle Touch, it's fine, you know, it's good. I've enjoyed the Poggle Touch for a long time, but just everything just feels a little bit more alive on the WM1Z, for lack of a better term. Okay, what about Koan Planu S? This thing retailed for what, $1,800 back in 2016, around the same time, right? WM1Z still retailed for more. This was $3,200. Yeah, the Planu S doesn't feel quite as like, it's not technically quite as good as the WM1Z is. I think the Planu S is honestly overpriced at the time. It has a PCM 1792A DAC chip inside of it. It's a burr brown. That means it has a bit of a warmer tonality, but in terms of that, I think the Sony WM1Z still wins. It has just as warm of a tonality, but it sounds more enjoyable than the Planu S. Even though Planu S does have the jet effect going for it. I do like the jet effect DSP stuff, but you know, in terms of musical enjoyment and even technicalities, I would pick the WM1Z over it. So that's an area where I would say, okay, low to Poggle Touch, which is another $3,200 DAP. This, technicality-wise, pretty similar, I would say, but just WM1Z I think is more enjoyable. Innate, same thing, also retail for $3,200. Technicalities, yeah, I think it's, if you don't use the tube output, this could be a little bit better in technicalities, but I'll still pick the WM1Z for musicality. Obviously, it's better than WM1A in terms of musicality and technicalities. And then, what about the crystal? Okay, QP2R is really, really surprising, okay? I picked this up recently. This uniquely has a current mode amplification type of circuit, so the way that it does the amplification is different than all the other digital audio players. Surprisingly powerful for what it's rated as. In terms of technicalities, I think this is actually superior to almost everything here, surprisingly, because this was like $1,300 when it released back in 2018. So it's technically cheaper than everything here except for the WM1A. And technicalities of this player is actually, I would say, beyond the WM1Z, which is kind of insane. But yeah, like if you're just looking for pure sound quality, then I think the QP2R actually wins. But it's also very neutral sounding. So it doesn't have that musicality, that je ne sais quoi, you know, that the WM1Z has. It doesn't have that. None of these players do except for the WM1Z. This thing has that je ne sais quoi. It has that special something, you know? So I'll still pick the WM1Z in terms of musicality. I think this is the most musical DAP I've ever listened to. Everything I've listened to on this thing just comes alive. The notes just, yeah, it just feels like it has that much more energy, that much more note separation, that much more bloom, that much more depth on it. There's just something that Sony's doing here that's kind of just unique and special. And yeah, WM1Z will win. If you ask me, hey Tong, out of all your DAPs, which one are you going to choose for just listening to music and enjoying it for hours at a time? I'm going to say WM1Z every time. Even though technicalities wise, okay, there's better players. SP3000M is better. Even QP2R is a little bit better in terms of technicality. But just in terms of musical enjoyment, I'm going to pick WM1Z every time. It's really that good. So yeah, that's all I got to say about it. It's a special, unique DAP. It's a keeper, basically. I can understand why this is so legendary among audiophiles. This came out in 2016. Even 10 years later, a lot of audiophiles still enjoy this music player, and I understand why. There's just something special about it. There's this unique musical tonality to it that just makes every track feels that much more alive, you know? Not to say that they were sounding dead or anything on my low to Poggle Touch or any of these other ones, but once I hear the WM1Z, it's just like, I can't go back. It's once I go back, it just feels like, oh, yeah, the tracks are just there, but they just come to life, you know, a little bit more on the WM1Z. Yeah, the notes just bloom a little bit more, notes separate just a little bit more, dynamics a little bit more, just something that's doing here. So I can't quite explain it, but yeah, this is the one DAP I've been listening to hours and hours once I bought it. Compared it to the Poggle Touch, and it was hard for me to go back to Poggle Touch, to be honest. It was like, there's something that this is doing that no other digital audio player that I've heard does. It's just makes music that much more enjoyable. It's not just about the warmth. There's just something about the tonality that Sony's doing. I don't know. So anyways, again, I don't know what's going on inside of this thing. Like, Sony doesn't give out too much specs, and their DAC is proprietary. So I don't know what's going on inside of this thing. It's all digital, right? But they're doing something really, really kind of special here. So yeah, that's what I feel with WM1Z. I mean, I could say something about all these music players I have, that there's a reason I have all of them still. WM1A I think is still good for the price, right? $1,000 when it came out, or $1,300, I think, around there. You can get it for around $500 now. So still pretty good, nice little music player, and still quite musical sounding actually, compared to your typical, you know, acetone current type player. It's still very musical sounding and still quite enjoyable. So, and it's also, you know, quite portable and good size. So WM1A, still nice little enjoyable music player. If you guys just want a pure music player, this is always a good one to go to. Crystal QP2R, another great pure music player that really punches above its price when it comes to technicalities and pure music quality. If you're just looking for like, hey, I want a very resolving player with a lot of power. This feels like a 700 milliwatts, even though it doesn't, but yeah, it feels like a 700 milliwatts. This actually feels quite powerful, and yeah, it feels like the sound quality, everything just sounds like very detailed, because it just sounds like it has a lot of power and punch behind it. So yeah, this is still quite enjoyable. You can pick it up for about $500 these days. So I think it still punches above its price. Still sounds like a lot of $1,000 players these days. So yeah, pretty good just in terms of pure music quality. If you don't care about the tonality, it's actually quite neutral on this one. So yeah, just be aware of that. Even though it's like AK4490, it doesn't sound like a typical AK4490. Yeah, it sounds yeah, just kind of neutral leaning, I would say, but very good technicalities, especially for the price point. KN Innate is still the go-to if you want to have the tube flavor, because compared to Innate 2 or Shanley M8T or KN N3 Ultra, right, a lot of these other tube powered DAPs, this one sounds the most tubey out of all of them, I would say. So yeah, if you guys are just looking for the tube flavor, then KN N8 has that going for it. And it's quite unique actually in terms of form factor as well. Planu S, I think if you guys are looking for like jet effect player, like with that cool jet effect ESP, then you got to pick up a Planu, and the Planu S form factor is good. The chip inside of it is a legendary chip, the Burr Brown PCM1792A. So it sounds analog-ish, warmish, right? And you combine that with jet effects, still good to pick up for that. Not the best in terms of technicalities, but yeah, just for if you're looking for a nice koan with jet effect and a decent DAC chip, Planu S is always good. It's a collector's piece. Low topographical touch, like I said, is still going to be my daily driver, because reference neutrality in terms of tonality, decently resolving. It's not the best in terms of technicalities, but it's good enough. Very, very usable in terms of both hardware and software, UI and everything. Navigation is just very, very good on this, very fast. So yeah, still my daily DAP because of that. Just the form factor and the UI and navigation is just, yeah, so fast on this thing. So it's so easy to get to my music on this thing. So as a daily driver DAP, I still keep the Pod Gold Touch. But then if you were to ask me, hey, out of all these, which one do I pick if I just sit at home? I don't care about the portability. I just want to listen to my music in the most enjoyable way possible for as long as possible. Then the WM1Z wins, because musicality-wise, it can't be beat. It just, all my music just sounds so much better. It's got a warmish tonality. Sure, that's something that the N8 does as well. The Planu S does as well. It's not unique in terms of that, but in terms of just how much more enjoyable it makes all my tracks. Yeah, there's something unexplainable. It's just special and unique. So yeah, it just does something to all my tracks. Just makes them feel much more alive and enjoyable, I would say. So I don't know how to better explain it. All I gotta say is WM1Z is a special player. So if you guys see one, pick it up. Yeah, definitely, I think it's worth it. Only thing is the weight. Yes, it does weigh a brick, like half a kilogram is, yeah, is why I can't really use this outside that often. But for long trips, it's fine. And then for using at home, of course, it's fine too. Also kind of wish it had a search functionality, but that's really about it. Not too many complaints when it comes to this. And when it comes to pure sound enjoyment, not the most technical player, but the most enjoyable player, I would say. So those two things are separate, you know? Like, you can have lower distortion and less noise in the background, but it might not sound very enjoyable. Like the SP3000M. Very, very good player when it comes to measurements, right? Very clean sounding, black background, low noise and distortion, almost nothing actually. But it doesn't sound even half as enjoyable as the WM1Z does. So in my opinion, you know, to my ears. So there's a difference between technicalities and enjoyment of the music, in my opinion. So WM1Z will win every time when it comes to tonality and musicality. So anyways, Sony is all about the tonality. They've never really cared too much about power because it doesn't have too much power. They don't care too much about measurements. It's always about the musical enjoyment and the tonality when it comes to Sony players, especially their flagship WM1Z. So yeah. I think the main reason why I can't use the WM1Z as my daily driver DAP is because it doesn't have search functionality. So it's not just the weight. I mean, of course, I would prefer it if it was lighter, but the main thing is it doesn't have search. I know the newer version, the WM1Z M2 does. It runs Android and everything, but it's also bigger and bulkier and more expensive, right? I do like the size of the WM1Z, the first generation, but yeah, not having search, honestly, like that's why I still go back to my Low 2 Pod Gold Touch, right? So the operating system, the Low 2 is just so simple. If I want to have a search for any song, I just pull down from the top on any screen and I just can type it in. And it's so fast and it's instantaneous, it'll load the results, right? So I have like 20,000 songs on here. I can just do any search and yeah, the results appear almost instantaneously. It's such a fast UI. So that's why Low 2 is still my go-to as my daily driver DAP. Like, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, we don't need search functionality because you just organize it into folders and stuff. Well, as you can see, I'm not a very organized guy. I'm pretty messy, right? So I have my files just, yeah, not organized basically. So I do need that search functionality for my DAP. If it's a daily driver DAP, of course, WM1Z is my preferred DAP for just listening to music in terms of just, I want to enjoy the music and everything. Yes, sound quality wise, WM1Z is going to be my best bet. But as a daily driver DAP, I need to be able to search for my music well. And yeah, unfortunately, WM1Z doesn't have search functionality. The Low 2 does. And it's a really good search too. So yeah, the UI is the main reason I still keep the Pod Gold Touch as my daily driver. But yeah, if Sony made like a custom, if there's like a custom firmware that lets you search within the Sony, then yeah, I would probably use this as my daily driver DAP. But yeah, that's probably one of the main reasons. I mean, yes, heavy. If it was just like the same weight as a WM1A and also a search functionality, that would be perfect. You know, keeping the sound quality and everything else intact. That would be my dream DAP, you know, just having Sony WM1Z sound quality with the weight of WM1A with the same size. And then having search functionality on top of the Walkman UI, which is basically what newer Walkmans have. Newer Walkmans, like the WM1Z M2 and WM1A M2, ZX707, even the ZX507, which I tried before, they all have the Walkman DAP with the search functionality. So if you just put that Walkman DAP into here, I mean that Walkman UI into here, then yeah, that would be perfect, right? You can just mod the UI and make it like that. It'd be great. That would be my my perfect DAP, basically. That's it. Yeah, and power is another thing. If you guys are looking for a powerful DAP, this is not it. But yeah, I would say if you don't mind having the closed operating system, kind of mediocre power output, and not having search and the heaviness, then yeah, this is actually the player to get if you just care about enjoyment of music. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think about in the comment section below. I have a sound comparison test comparing all these coming up, so stay tuned for that.
The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crashing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I had sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide more in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide more in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide more in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide more in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting, and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held
Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see you. Ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side.